Not everybody needs to get back into their body. You could be a yoga teacher with CPTSD, spend all day in your body and still have problems because you are not balanced. So I want to talk about the mind-body connection today, because although people talk about it an awful lot, I don't think it really gets explained in a way that we can fully understand it. And that's because the examples that we're given are not something that happens to all of us regularly. We talk about it in a kind of a spiritual connection, and that's great because when we are empaths and we do need to talk about things in a spiritual kind of way. But at the same time, if something is explained to us in a way that we don't understand, it becomes education and it isn't gnosis. The ability to understand something so fully that it becomes inner knowledge. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to give you a personal example of something that's happened this week. And I'm going to give you an example of something that I've learned as a result of teaching mind-body connection to a wide range of people. And then I've noticed that these patterns have come up where some people are going one way or the other, and that we're all actually very different. So we can try it on ourselves and it just fully won't work because it's not right for us. So the first thing is my personal example. This week, I have been sick. I have been very unwell. The middle of last week, I started to get a sore throat, and then by the weekend, I could barely breathe. And when my body couldn't breathe, my mind was less resilient. And when I thought about it, it made total sense as to why that was happening. And because I already had the gnosis, it was okay. And it occurred to me that not everybody will know. And so I'm going to sit down here and tell you all about it now. So in your body, obviously we know we have neurons in our head. We also have neurons in our heart. A very small number, like 40,000, I think, which is a tiny amount in comparison with what you've got going on up here. But it's still enough for the body to send signals up into the brain and communicate information. So here I am, I'm coughing my guts up. I'm not having a good time of it at all. My body is going, ah, and it's sending a message up to my brain that says, you need to be anxious about this. And I should have been. I was struggling to breathe. I mean, breathing's important, right? As a result of that, the feelings that I was having about something else that was going on in my life at that point, I was less able to handle them. So the first thing I want to tell you about mind-body coherence is that when one side is imbalanced, the other side becomes imbalanced too. Now, the other thing that can happen as well is it can go from top and down. And I have my personal experience on that. I've had a chronic illness for about 10 years now. I am a lot better now because I've done the work. But before, I did not have control over my CPTSD, and I was being triggered all the time. My brain was actually sending signals to my body that I was not safe. And my body was interpreting that in the only way that it possibly could. My nervous system was flaring up, and I experienced pain and inflammation all over my body. This is the tricky part. I mean, you go to the doctors with something like this, particularly if you are a woman, and the doctor says, well, you're just anxious. And this can be gutting. The whole psychosomatic thing, those words have become like a swear word in our heads because we know that the pain is real and it's visceral and it affects you on a day-to-day basis. So to be told that your physical pain is actually anxiety can be very frustrating, especially when you're then given something that doesn't help. um, so But interestingly, very recently, researchers have discovered the exact cause for this. And it lines up perfectly with the 6 F's of CPTSD. The last one is called flop. We all know fight, flight, fawn, and freeze, but we've also got fine and flop. Now, flop is caused, according to researchers now, by something called mitochondrial allostatic load. And that is their way of saying that long-term stress on the body affects the mitochondria, which are the energy-producing cells in your body. Isn't that fascinating? So when I got long COVID, I correctly worked out that I had something called MECFS. But as it was, because I also had childhood trauma, I was suffering from both MECFS, from the viral load of COVID, and also on the other side of it, this new mitochondrial allostatic load. And so when I did the work for my CPTSD, I got a little bit better. So it's really interesting that the brain can actually make you tired, can make you shut down if you've been in stress for a very long time, because we are not designed to be stressed over the long term. We're designed to see a physical threat, run away, burn off all of the stress, and then carry on our lives. The second thing that I promised to tell you was what I've learned from coaching people out of CPTSD. Now, stage one of getting better is to do somatic exercises. And the way that we've been taught somatic exercises is that we do exercises that get us back into our body. Now, here's an interesting pattern that I've noticed. Not everybody needs to get back into their body. Some people spend all the time in their body and they're still suffering, and I'll tell you why. You could be a yoga teacher with CPTSD, spend all day in your body and still have problems because you are not balanced. You are all day in your body and your brain is just doing whatever it wants to, and you're not aware of your patterns and you're not aware of your thoughts. And then you could be somebody who is all day in their head and not paying any attention to their body, and you will be equally unbalanced. And so the somatic exercises, and we call them somatic exercises, I think we need to change that name. The balancing exercises that we need to change the balance and make it more 50-50. And that's what we mean by mind-heart coherence, is a balance between the two. So if you're thinking, this is me, I want to get better from my CPTSD, I am an empath, I want to learn my patterns, I'm fed up of being triggered, I know I'm this amazing, powerful woman, and I'm just fed up with how I'm responding to the world at the moment, and you would like inner peace, then I have something for you. I've just opened a community called the Empowered Path, and that is absolutely the purpose for it. It's for getting you out of fight or flight, giving you inner peace. And for some people, actually, that will also mean that your empathic abilities will amplify and certain other clairs might pop out as well. And I'm there for you if that happens too, because that happened to me. And at the moment, it's just been launched. It's at an incredibly low price because I'm looking for founding members who will also give me feedback. I'll respond to all of your questions in the community. We have 2 group coaching calls a week. Everybody gets an onboarding call with me one-to-one. So I make sure that it's not just what I think you need, it's what I think everybody needs based on who actually joins, which means we'll end up with a universal CPTSD pathway for empaths. And I think we all need that because empaths get a particularly hard time because with CPTSD, not all of our internal thoughts actually belong to us. Some of them come from external as well, and I'll teach you about that too. Actually, I have another video, which I did put that recently, and I'll put that somewhere up here as a link. But the link to the community is down there in the description, and it's also on my channel. It's been lovely to talk to you today. I hope you found this useful. Hopefully I'll see you in the community. If not, please subscribe because that helps my videos go further and we can all share, because when we share together, we rise. And we all need to rise at the moment. This world as it is, it's just chaotic. It's very hard for empaths in particular because we are feeling everything. And please remember, with everything that's going on and everything that's happened to you, it matters not. You've incarnated into this world. You have chosen to incarnate in the most difficult time. And that means, regardless of anything, you are enough.